I'm going live right this very second, okay? I will try to get Matt to do that for me. Thank you. But it's on my Facebook page. Just go to the Facebook, and if you go to Facebook and hit it, you're there. Okay. So we're live. Hi, everyone. CCR Chagra here with the Human Room Open Voice Experiment. Now, in a usual situation like this, and everyone here has already heard this, so I don't have to say it again. So I'll wait till someone new comes in. But for those that are listening to the recording, this is a very scaled back Human Room Open Voice Experiment where if you're watching this on Facebook or if you're watching this on YouTube and you're watching this via the Buttonwood Tree, you could just simply click on that Zoom link and come to this meeting. This is going to be an open microphone, and it's going to be a teach-in, scaled back of between people contributing a poem or a song. I'm going to be trying to explain why this is an open microphone hybrid, and what does it mean to be someone who could invite or suggest or be a nonprofit, anyone who is contributing to humanity with it as a nonprofit, and anyone who is contributing to humanity as it could be a tiny organization or a group. You could simply send them this form, and then they could do that. Because although you're now here and it's going to be an open mic, they're all going to start like that. So you can come right now, because right now the threshold of you have to be a member is not existing. And there's the jot form that's in the comment section. Derek just posted it. So you'll be able to take that form, which is a test form. Now, it works. It had a little glitch in it. Luckily, Steve caught the glitch and I fixed it. I tried to add something, blah, blah, blah. But take that form and share it. And here is the interesting thing that I really want to achieve today is, do you know a nonprofit that wants to have a voice that's contributing to humankind? What was really fascinating about the first one and what Anne-Marie did is that a nonprofit invited nonprofits to come and talk about their nonprofits. But in the world, the reality that we live in, that is a benevolent reality, they have to compete for the same nickels and dimes. But in this day and age, if we can't be human amongst people being human, because the system of inhumanity dictates that we have to compete with each other to be human, is basically an inhumane system. It's an inhuman system. So, so this entire concept is to create that that paradigm where we enter equally above that level. And the question that I'm asking, and I want you to ask everyone, is, do you know a single person that can go anywhere on this earth and do what is being asked of, to come here and speak freely beyond dichotomies anywhere on the planet? Is there any existing format that doesn't live where the monetary system or or your nationality or your race or your gender, it's all pockets of inhumanity? Even fighting against my humanity is better than your humanity. They even had a thing from a university where they took all the people who believe in Brave New World as the greatest contribution versus all the people who believe in 1984. And they had to create a Muhammad Ali fight just to get people to show up, because we're conditioned. We don't know how free we're not, and how we are playing a role in that by identifying with the division and then saying, I'm above it, rather than this concept being, it begins above it. And that's the challenge. And that's what I'm asking you to do. So if you could think of if you can't think of a single benevolent organization that is willing to do that, then that is a beautiful thing. If this fails, that failure is a beautiful lesson, because then the person who is saying, I am contributing to humankind, but I'm better than their contribute, you start to see. You start to see that the freedom that's missing and that is being offered here. And that's the art that I'm trying to make. That's why I want to make this and then let it go. Everyone here, everyone that shows up, Naomi, Robin, Steve, anyone on the planet Earth that is free to do this, that has an internet connection, once this is up and running, they're going to get the entire system, and that they're going to be able to. Somebody left. Oh, that's her connection's weak. She'll be back. So I don't know if you've invited anyone or not, or people are going to come. And so we're started. It's after 4, and let's just go ahead and see who wants to read a poem. And then if you want to say anything before we do the first person, does anyone want to share something? Now, you got to remember we're going live right now on multimedia platforms. So the voyeuristic watchers of freedom, but they don't want to come in and be free, are watching this right now. In the future, whenever we do a Human Room Open Voice event, we're going to go live with the open microphone, and we're going to share that to everybody. But the people in the Zoom meeting will be everyone who agreed to the principles of involvement. So there are people listening to me right now on Facebook and on YouTube that have no idea what that means. So they have no reference point to grasp what it is that I'm talking about. What are principles of involvement? They're not questions. Niall said it last time, they're integrity principles that you agree with, so that we all come together with agreement. So no one is inferior or superior to any other life form. That's the first principle. So, I mean, if you come in at that level, then those of you who are watching and will watch the restream of this, I want you to know that that's how important the principles of involvement are. And they exist at buttonwood.org. And then on their series of events that they have going on, including the open mic that's tomorrow night, Anything Goes open mic. You can see the name in Steve's thing. He's one of the artists that contribute regularly to the Anything Goes. That's on Monday nights. And they have revolving hosts that do that. So you could go to that open mic. That does not have this paradigm thing going on. So please feel free to go to the Buttonwood Tree, and you'll see a little bio they wrote about me. That was very kind. You'll see a PowerPoint video you can watch, and underneath that it says Principles of Involvement. That is, right now it just says what's your name and what's your address, and then here are 9 things. Click yes 9 times and you're a member. You only have to do that once if you do it. But that particular form that you're going to see today is going to be a little bit more explanatory up front, because I just got into creating those forms, and we have Matt aboard now. So thank you very much. Welcome aboard, Matt. And that's so I just want everyone to know that who is watching. So I have a twofold thing. I've never done this before, where I'm talking both live and into the future to people who are both going to be here and are all welcome here now today without this whole membership thing. But that's just to make it safe. Now, what I'm leading to, and this is the end of this statement, is that after the open mic and after the nonprofit community organizations part, which the new forum is existing for in the chat, the Facebook live stream ends. So if you're watching on YouTube and you don't want to become a member, or you have and you just haven't been able to make it to this particular one, or a future one created by someone else, which I'll allude to again later on, that becomes the free speech platform. And herein really lies the rub of what I'm asking anyone who sees this, and please share this. You can come here and speak freely, but the principles of involvement are going to give you a playing field to be human beyond your concept of enemy, of other, and of superiority, inferiority. Welcome, J.D. Wise, to the. So I mentioned once before, Anything Goes open mics tomorrow night at the Buttonwood Tree, and you could find that there. Derek, you could also post the Anything Goes, or J.D. Wise, feel free to put it in the comment. There's an open mic tomorrow night at the Buttonwood Tree, which is kind enough to be the first venue to host this concept. You can speak freely has brought me to the attention that it is frightening to offer someone a free platform to be human. The resistance to, I could say what I think, feel, and believe, is living in a paradigm of fear. Because what if your freedom is someone else's fear? So the principles of involvement are going to guide you to understand that everyone in the future Zoom meetings are going to be able to all agree. So they have agreed not to judge you or to present something that judges you. And that is how, and they're scaled back. Wait till you see the in the future, hopefully within a year, within a half a year, the full principles of involvement as designed as a gift to the world. And then there's other paradigms, and I don't even want to get into it, but money can also be a work of art. And the future of the Human Room Open Voice is going to include a art as money monetary system for the people inside this. Now that is way out. You're probably not going to see that till at least August. And every second Sunday that's going on. So thank you for those who are here. And we have someone else here. So see, this is beautiful. This is the buttonwood tree. You got to give a lot of love for. Half the people here are people who participate in the open mic tomorrow night, which is at the buttonwood tree. Anything goes open mic. And they're the ones offering us this platform. So JD Wise, you were the first one to go live. And we don't have an order right now, but if we went in order, it would be Steve, Mary, Rob, Benji. Benji wants to, that's his poem. I'm in a doghouse right now. That's going to happen. So we're good with that. And so do you want to do a list, or does somebody want to just volunteer and go first?
I'm writing them down.
Oh, Derek's going to put them in the list. So if your name comes up, and so for those of you who haven't heard this, I am asking the 9 people that are here, including myself, to tell people that this is an experiment, open mic teach-in. This one is scaled back. There is no big, it's not like the last one, which the Mother's Day one is going to be next month. So that's going to be the full idea of the first and second platform and people being introduced to the free speech, because the forums are going to come into existence, which only one exists now. The invitation of the nonprofits is going to exist. And this video and its introduction is going to exist. If anybody wants to try to explain what I just said or what they think this is, you're also welcome. And I'll need your version of, hey, CC's trying to do this, or they don't even have to mention my name. The Human Room Open Voice is this. I will make a little video so that your echo will be that. So right now, if you know a storyteller, a comedian, a singer-songwriter who wants to come on, between your sets, as new people show up, you're going to hear me repeat it, but I'm going to start introducing a little bit more in this particular concept so that each one of you can let 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 people know, and each one of them can let one. And I want you to understand that this is really, hey, Beverly, how you doing? Lower your screen so we can see more than your forehead. Tilt your screen towards you. That's my friend Beverly. We met at a non-profit, what was it? It was a TV show. We were both involved in making of a TV show. So let's see. Okay, so who wants to go first? Hi, Bev. Okay, so okay, Derek wants to say something. I'm going to mute myself.
Saying, hey everyone, I'm pretty much doing the technical for this show, so if you're having any audio or video issues, send me a message in the chat, and I will create a breakout room and we'll take care of it. Basically, to kind of reiterate some of what Cece said, everyone who gets involved and shows up to this open mic, we want to attract nonprofits. We want anyone contributing to humankind to get involved, because like Cece said, we're in an environment where we're forced to compete against each other, but there aren't many environments where people, different competitors of the same sport have to come together and kind of play together. We do that sometimes, but never like in an organized way or whatever. So it's nice to have this be done in real time on an event where everyone could see it. You know, not just some big fancy convention that you have to pay to go to. That's where you usually see this stuff. Fancy conventions, you got to pay, you know, thousands of dollars to go on this fancy trip, and they don't televise it. We're not trying to make money off this. This is a convention, but it's completely free and everyone could see it on multiple platforms. So that being said, I put a link to the form where what you can do when you fill out this form is whether you are in a nonprofit community organization, a good nonprofit or community organization. There are a lot of, you know, malevolent ones out there. But you will either fill it out for yourself or suggest someone's nonprofit. So you could either, you know, say, I'm the owner, I'm the friend of the owner, the owner is my neighbor, stuff like that, whether you actually work there or not. All that stuff. So you'll be able to specify your relationship. So when we get your email and it says all your information that you filled out, we'll have a good idea on how to like approach them and stuff. So if anyone needs help filling out this form, let one of us know and we'll walk you through, and we might even be able to do it live on here. I'll share my screen and we'll fill it out together step by step. So that's what this is about. This is kind of, we're going to talk about that, or I don't know if we did already enough, but we're probably going to go into the open mic aspect of things and then maybe talk more about it. But I know we all know someone I have a few friends who have nonprofit groups, so I'm going to fill out this form once the meeting's over. Or I'll probably even do it right now. But we all know someone who has a nonprofit, or we at least know someone who knows someone. And what we really want everyone to do is to put in a little effort in bringing them here, because this is where we want all the great minds to meet and get something going. Because I feel like this time of day, or this day and age, rather, people are a little disconnected. We kind of got to make effort to connect people and be kind of that facilitator. So this is our chance. That's why we keep saying this isn't your traditional open mic. This isn't just a place we show up, do our song and dance and leave. This is a place where we can be a part of something amazing, but there's a little bit of responsibility. So let's see how far we could go with a little effort. And we're working hard over here. So Cece, if you want to kick off the open mic aspect, I don't know if that's what we're doing, but I'm going to pass off the mic. So.
Okay. All right. Let me turn my speaker back up, because we're in a room apart right here on this end of the thing. And okay. So show of hands, who wants to go early on?
Cece?
All right, first hand in the air is Steve. He was the pioneer of the entire concept, the first artist to perform in the open mic. Last time he created a unique poem, and I'm working on making a standalone piece of that. And eventually you're going to be able to go to the YouTube page and watch all the people who contributed to the nonprofits, because there's no example of that right now out there. So I'm isolating them. I'm going to put a little bit of like this kind of stuff in the beginning, a little bit of this kind of stuff in the end. So go ahead, Steve. I'm going to mute ourselves, and then you're going to be able to watch those on the YouTube, and there'll be more to share, but you won't have to share a 2-hour thing. You just do the other part. So yeah, keep an open mind, keep an open mind, keep an open mind. And this is something that is not about me, really. When this thing is up and running and I am dead and gone, that's when this hopefully will be something that we played an initial. If you look at a seed, you don't see the rainforest, but that's what it started with. One seed in the soil, a tree. That tree made more trees. That soil made more diversity, and then the wind and the rain came, and we're all good. So let's make some wind, rain, and soil work for us all. And go ahead, Steve. What do you got for us?
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Cece. And to everyone here, it's a joy to be with you. I think the wonderful idea of a space where we can share, learn about one another, learn about, improve relationships, and just bring out what really is the best and the uniqueness of each one of us. So I have great joy to do that with you, and I've adapted this little ditty that we wrote for the buttonwood tree, sort of in celebration here. So I'm going to do it for you with the slight changes in it. But here we go.
Steve, you got to unmute.
Oh shucks, was everything I said blocked out?
The last
Most
few,
of it.
yeah,
Well,
the last
let
few.
thank you, thank you. Let me recap here. I didn't know I was muted. I thought I was unmuted. Anyway, just want to say to all of you, it's a pleasure to be here with you. It's a great joy in celebrating each one of your uniqueness. This space is going to evolve, and it's great to be here in the inception. It's a great vision that Cece has. So this little tune I'm going to do is an adaptation of something that I did for the wonderful Buttonwood Tree, who, as Cece has said, is a great sponsor of this. It's a wonderful organization. So I don't think they'll mind me changing this a little bit on the invite to everybody. So all of you out there, take the opportunity to come on board. Here we go. You might call this the human room voice, the human room open voice. Celebrate the human room voice. Support the artistic community. Visit the human room voice. Works of art made for you and me. Hey, actors, writers, musicians, dancers and singers, composer, yes you, poets and painters and filmmakers too. Heart and soul at the human room voice. Heart and soul at the human room voice. Showcase for new artists, a safe place for a friendly start. Nurturing creative growth, inviting you to do your part. Bringing people and art together, together in gratitude, together in gratitude. Celebrate the human room voice. Support the artistic community. Visit the human room voice. Works of art made for you and me. The human room voice at the Buttonwood Tree. There you go.
That was cool.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. JD Wise, you have a gigantic pink thing.
Yes, I
just
do.
want to let you know what that looks like, dude.
Uh-huh.
It's got a subtext. You might want
Oh, oh.
to.
Hey, you see what you want to see.
Yes, I know. It's all beautiful. It's all beautiful. Um, so yeah, are you ready to go? Who wants to go next? Anybody? I can't see Robin because you're using a picture, Naomi. So if you
We had Mary up after Steve.
all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's go with let's I didn't see the yeah, did you put the line up in the chat? I didn't see it. Anyway, okay, why don't we go with Mary? She was that.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh, he didn't put it up in there. Okay.
So who's going? Mary, do you want to go?
Mary, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Okay, next up, Mary Jennings to the Human Room Open Voice. Thank you.
Thank you. Cece, I hope you don't mind if I read this. Yeah, I wrote this in response to your poem, The Fool I Am. I don't know if you remember it, but let me unlock here. All right, this is called All There Is. Was the moment real if it ended too soon? How the heart's thrall lasts is small, that it's a shame it can't be extended. You try for an encore and force a retrofit of future moments for a similar feel, but it's not the same. You want to cry out theft of that moment, but that's not reasonable. Lofty idealism stays up in the air for so long, then it's time to come to earth and go to work. A different dream will later take shape, and you will want to be there for it before it passes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Mm-hmm.
The fool
Nice
I
poem.
am. The beginning of every high point in my life is the most wonderful ending that the coming of tomorrow can bring. The song and poetry of my breathing and my dream come true moments are over. And now I stand naked about my falling achievements. I have a terrible memory of my own poems, but that is it was one of the poems in my first book ever published. And that's a throwback. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And it's one of the 3 poems that I can remember of my own because I like to keep a blank canvas. Okay, so next up, hands.
I'm going next.
Oh, excellent. Okay, beautiful. All right, I wasn't looking at the chat. Thank you, Robin, and thank you
Got
for
it.
your contribution last time. You brought Marie Louise to tears.
Thank you. And that's actually the poem that I will be reading again tonight.
Sure, and you'll have time to read another one later on, hopefully too. I'm going to mute myself now. And how do
Thank
you
you.
like to say your name again? Because I know you have both your name and
Yes, actually, my stage name is and author name is R. Chanel.
R.
And
Chanel. Okay,
yes,
your pen
and
name.
yes, thank you. And this poem is actually available on all streaming radio platforms from my album Secret Garden Mixtape, and it's called No Allegiance. I don't pledge allegiance to the flag because it never pledged allegiance to me. For the past week, I've wakened angry. My allegiance is to the one that gave his blood, not taking blood. I won't take my hat off. I refuse to utter those words. The only reason why I stand is to stretch my legs, improving the circulation. I like the Star Spangled Banner song, the Whitney Houston version. My ancestors chose to sacrifice their lives, even when the military was segregated. When the smoke cleared, no matter the skin color, all of the blood that was shed was red. I live in an at-will state, the city part that uses streetlights, where my life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness can be sold if the price is right. Country police question me for working while Black. I lack any sympathy. I won't pledge allegiance to a flag because they never pledged allegiance to me. Many of these professional football players have bachelor's degrees, masters, and doctorates. The shut up and play mentality treats them like a slave trade or meat market. I enjoy the protests. That's what my uncles fought for. Let their voice count. Let them use their platform. I've had white men sit on the side of the road, waiting until I get off of work and attempting to kill me because I'm one less Blackie trying to live the American dream. I live and love this neighborhood, but I'm not attracted to the drug dealers. I'm okay with rejecting the druggies, pill poppers, weed heads, and drunkards. How dare I not allow society to objectify, sexualize, and degrade me, a human being? I won't pledge allegiance to the flag because it never pledged allegiance to me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So
Powerful.
in the process of creating this, since this is a teach-in, the questions came to me. Well, what if somebody does something or says something and things like that? The principles of involvement, including everything that she just said, to some people, if they can't embrace their own humanity, if they didn't read the principles of involvement, then they're not going to understand that it is not my place or anyone else's place here to judge what she said or she didn't say. The principles do that, just like water does that to our thirst, just like food does that to our hunger. We rise above it. We are existence at a level of privilege that we are equal to life itself. It's not I'm better or worse than any other person. It's that I'm not better or I'm not inferior or superior to life. That's what the first one is. So if you were to take anything, whether it's her poem or the next song or the next storyteller that you hear, and you say, well, is that human or not human? Well, you go to the principles of involvement, which again, I say, are very, very scaled down. Wait till you see in later time the amount of work and thought and poetry and philosophy that has gone in to a deeper understanding of what this thing is. It's during the process of writing them, they were compared to the Constitution writing. So it's that kind of depth of poetry, and these are words we live by. And then when it comes to words that we live by, if the reason we got here in this country, like America, is America human? America has done more than enough things that are not human. So does that make America more human than Spain or England or Germany or China or any place else, Ethiopia? It doesn't matter. Brazil, anywhere, any continent, Antarctica. If you think the world is a globe, I'm not going to go there. That's a friend of mine. I love that stuff. So anyway, so it's a beautiful thing. And so inside the principles of involvement, are when you start to see them, the real judge and jury is life itself. It's air. Are you harming air? It's water. Is what your poem or song did it hurt water? Then you probably contributed to life. Did it hurt soil? Did it turn it into sand? Well, then I'm not going to tell you whether it's good or bad. The principles of involvement will do that. And that's why this is so important. And thank you for that poem for the second time that I've heard it. And it contains the pain. I'm not saying don't be painful. Don't say what hurts. Don't say what's wrong. I'm saying that in the process of doing that, you're going to see that as time goes by, and if this grows from a seed, if the seed survives and becomes a little 3-inch plant, we're good. If it becomes a tree, that's amazing. If it becomes a rainforest, then we could all leave saying we contributed to life, and this was a gift. That's why it can't be owned. And I'll explain the whole art as money thing as that time goes on. It's not my thing. I am not going to be the owner. There's going to be no CEO of this when it gets out into the world. Otherwise, somebody in China that gets killed is going, if you have a head of something, then they just take off the head. If you have a head of something, they shoot the head. That's Martin Luther King. He became the head of a civil rights movement, but he was everyone. He was every human. And that's what you take out. So if you put a head on something, then the people that don't want us to be human cut off the head to scare the rest of us. And so it's important to bring your voice to this platform, and it's going to teach us from within itself. So who wants to go next? JD, are you warmed up? Is that anyone? I can't see Naomi's hand, so unless you're here just to watch and listen, who wants to go next?
I guess I'm warmed up.
JD's good then. Okay.
All right.
Naomi, let him know in the chat. I'm here just to watch and listen. Okay. Thank you, Naomi. I appreciate that response. And I'm sorry if I don't always catch the chat. I will try to. Ladies and gentlemen, JD Wise, and he's one of the hosts of the open mic tomorrow night. So don't forget the button tree.
Yes. I will say Derek is the main host, but I will be the host of the open mic on the 26th this month. And I'm going to play now an original that I just finished. And this one was actually, the title was inspired by something Derek said one night at the Anything Goes open mic. And so I guess he gets a songwriting credit on this one. This is called Candid Thoughts. Sure is hot in the summertime. Sure is wet in the pouring rain. Sure ain't likely I'm gonna speed in the carpool lane. If it don't fit the crime, the future happens one day at a time. So be judicious and don't be blind. Can't you see just what I mean? Candid thoughts and applesauce. Had to pull you out with the date of mine. I kindly asked if you'd stay the night. You said it might have to wait a while. I said that's okay, I swear that I'll be in your candid thoughts. Accidental inebriation, I'm shotgun on the way to the station now. It was so hard to find. This little piggy went out of his mind. Was it all worth it when it's only a dime so I can make a phone call home? Candid thoughts and secret plots. Never blame a victim of circumstance. I feel you might cause an avalanche here in my candid thoughts.
Okay,
Nice,
JD.
giving credit.
That was a
is
great
such
song.
thing.
Thank you, Derek. That means a lot.
It's a lot of times artists do that. They're inspired. I'm echoing.
Mm.
Let's see. Is there a mic open us? Okay. Yeah. So a lot of times artists are inspired and they forget to give the inspiration from where it came. And that's a shame because we're constantly inspiring each other all the time. And I think that that's something that we should do. I remember there were years where I almost didn't want to read some of my favorite poems because I thought someone wasn't going to receive it, but take it. But at the principles of involvement, the very last part, the very last one, and I think is almost the cornerstone of the entire project, is that everyone here that goes through the principles of involvement equally agrees to be willing to be wrong. I think that's a cornerstone of mutual humanity because you could be right is easy, but that's a line in the sand. I'm right about what I said. I'm right to have a right. I'm right to say what I want. It's all fine. But if everyone is at least willing to be, I'm right about, I know I'm right. I'm completely right, but I'm willing to be wrong. And if everyone does that, it really creates the foundation of what benevolence means beyond a benevolent reality. And when I say benevolent and malevolent, I'm referring to benevolence as beyond good and evil, right and wrong, bad, us or them, that all those dichotomies that are actually codependent. The word evil actually came after the word good in the history of words. So it's almost like good needed an other to say I'm good, but I'm better than that. And racism and sexism all come from these initial dichotomies where it's in the DNA of the seed of the system, which is a paradigm. And that's why I'm referring to this once again as a paradigm art form. Please go to the Buttonwood Tree and relook at the principles of involvement and see what's trying to be done, because they're really just a very bare bones version of that. And so thank you, JD, for both including your inspiration and giving credit to it and making it your own and sharing it as a contribution that we inspire each other. Is there someone that wants to go next?
I'll defer to anybody, CC, but I have a poem I'd like to read.
Oh, okay. Beverly, are you going to read? Yes? You got something? You're good. Okay. Thank you for being here, though, because, and I also, inside the description of the Human Room Open Voice, it says that if you show up and you do the principles of involvement and you are here in this Zoom room or in this Zoom meeting or in this whatever virtual thing we call this and whatever it becomes to be known as, that's Benji, you're just as important, your presence, and that will become more and more clear as this system grows and you start to see the layers of what's going to happen. But because this is a living work of art, I can't just tell you what it is. This is something that is actually created as it is lived. So if everyone is afraid and no one wants to do this and no one comes to just be here, then it will fail as a tree that never got rained on. It's just that simple. Nature, we are not separate from nature. We are not separate from spirit. And we are, so see, Benji agrees. Matt, are you going to be throwing something in the pie? Oh, Matt, that was a yes from Matt. So let's give Matt a chance. You can see him in the background there. I'm house sitting and dog watching, so they're kind enough to come. Hey, we got a new person here. Awesome. Again, the Human Room Open Voice is being blessed by the Buttonwood Tree and Anything Goes Open Mic. And Matt, Eileen just showed up. So do you want to let her go next?
Sure.
Okay, you know,
okay.
Go ahead, because I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet.
Okay, all right. So Matt, would you like to go? All right, everyone. A sacred dear friend and one of the fellow minds that are helping taking this thing, whatever's inside here. Okay, the mind is probably whatever, Pick a universe, any verse, universe, nothing up my sleeve. Matt has actually, he's one of the people that I could actually bounce these words off of. He's my dolphin friend, I call him. Go ahead, Matt. What do you got?
Sure. Can you hear me? Good? Okay. Good? All right. Sorry. Yep. So this is a short little poem I wrote about silence. You got it? Sorry, we're all together here. So this is a little poem I wrote about silence and its ability to teach by being silent. And I guess I got here through meditation and what it's done for me. So, still, silence teaches patience to those who listen. It does not demand respect or force attendance, yet presence is mandatory. Any question can be asked to the response of no other. Silence turns the mirror of the questioning to reveal not only the one who asks, but the root of all questions searching. Stillness in the wake of knowledge desired swallows the real and leaves delusions naked for the asking to become truer. Alone in reaction to the echoes of honesty, one has nowhere to turn but inward. The feedback must come from within. Forever in self-erasing gratitude to the silence that taught by being still and saying everything that did not need to be said. That's it.
Well done, Matt.
Thanks.
Thank you, Matt.
Good. Appreciate it.
If you want to alternate, CC, I can do a song.
Oh, okay. Steve, I think we're gonna keep going a little bit till we get to the top again.
Okay.
I think I may do a poem, and I think Eileen wants to do something. So hang in there, okay? But you'll be able to contribute again for sure. All right. Eileen, you can unmute yourself now. Eileen?
Okay.
All right, so you're up next. Now, what we're doing here today, just to give you a little introduction, because you just showed up, and I'm sorry for those of you who's going to hear this again. This is an experiment of the Human Room Open Voice in like a stage 2 thing. I mean a week 2 or event number 2. And this time we've opened it up so that there may be someone here that hasn't gone through the principles of involvement, but I've welcomed in other people because I want to use this as a teachable moment. And so we're basically taking a look at the concept as a whole. You were one of the people that did the principles of involvement and became a member, so you got the email. Thank you very much. And so that's basically it. And you'll hear other things again, but basically we're here to say that this is not a traditional open mic, that we're here to be human amongst humans and try to create a space. And so whatever your contribution is, in tandem with the reason we're all here, thank you and welcome, and hope to. And you also, just to let you know, she's also not only part of the Buttonwood Open Mic, but she teaches there too. And you can go to the buttonwood.org. If I could say this for you, Eileen, she does Reiki teaching there too.
Yes, yes.
So why don't you go ahead and share your art, your humanity, and your love with us?
Okay, well, I'm a Reiki practitioner, and I teach people to give Reiki to themselves and others. And Reiki is, to put it simply, is a healing practice that was brought here from Japan. It's done by light touch to different areas of the body, and you could do it to yourself. And I teach at the Buttonwood. My next class will be this Sunday and next Sunday. And after you complete both sessions, you get a certificate to practice. The manual is included, and it's held at the Buttonwood. And it's from 10 to 3:30. And we have a very good time. We practice, we share. we practice giving each other table treatments, chair treatments. So I believe I only do about 3 to 4 people. So I think there might be one more space left. So sign up. And I hope to be doing this monthly, which I've been.
Do you have a poem or something like that
I
for us?
do. And mostly I do readings. I do not, sing or anything. You wouldn't want to hear me sing. But anyway, this is a new book, and it came from one of my friends from high school, Sherry Lynn Anderson. It's Aunt Sadie's Letters of Hope and Healing. This girl was cleaning out her mother's house after her mother passed. And she found a basket of letters from her mother's Aunt Sadie, her great aunt. Her mother was in the hospital in Brooklyn for 6 months, paralyzed from the waist down by polio. Every day, Aunt Sadie wrote her a letter. And this was before the cell phones and the computers. And I will read some of the poems little by little. And there's one that she wrote, and this was in 1941. She calls her my dear little Goldilocks in this one. Raindrops are falling one by one. Up goes my umbrella, and out goes the sun. Who's afraid of raindrops with umbrella held so high? Who's afraid of storm clouds when the sun is in the sky? Have you an umbrella for a rainy day? What have you in your closet to shoo the clouds away? I don't mind the raindrops if they come once in a while, because they dry up mighty quick when I bring out my smile. And that's what she wrote to her. And she said, I hope to see your mother, and I shall give you some loving messages through her.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So in the future, since this is a learning curve, I'm going to want people's feedback on the aspect of, I want people to say, this is my art, and this is what I'm doing, and this is how you could believe in me and help me. But we're gonna, I think from what I've heard so far, we use the chat for like you could have found the link. If you could make a little link to the page, Eileen, and just say, and then do your contribution to humanity and say, and by the way, here's the stuff that I'm doing, and here's the link to it. And this way we could keep it more like the contributions are going to be about the art, and we live in a monetary world. We have to tell people how we're eating and how we're making a living, and what we're doing within the system that exists. But because this is a paradigm art project, I am going to try and slowly ask people to take the commercial aspect of their life and the reality, not to degrade it, but to put it into the chat for those people that are here, so that the principles of the involvement stay at the level they could make everyone feel that they're equally here to contribute what it is that, and you share the work of others, which is also welcome. It doesn't have to be your work. But the most important thing that you said, and I want to use this particular Human Room Open Voices, is another teachable moment, where you said that I don't write poetry, or I'm not a singer or songwriter. The third level of every Human Room Open Voice, when the live stream ends, is you're a human being, and what would you like to say? It is the most tender and sick, because I did this 20 years ago. So at the end of the open mic, and at the end of the nonprofit community organizations, which I haven't mentioned yet, will also include experimental art forms, but that's too much to explain at this stage of the process. There's going to be a third part. Does anybody want to speak freely as a human being?
Yeah, I just have a question, Cece. Could I just put my website in? And there's one more thing I want to say. I never said what Reiki is, but it helps with depression, anxiety, blood pressure, heart rate. It helps people feel better. It treats the whole body. But I'll put my website into the chat. How does that sound?
Absolutely beautiful. And thank you very much. And thank you for
Okay.
giving me this teachable moment for everyone. So, but again, the most important thing is that you could find a way of saying that at the end, as a free person, I'm a Reiki practitioner. And what Reiki is, I think, is a contribution to humankind. This is I'm
Yes,
laying an
thank you.
example out for you. And what it does is it helps people with depression. And then you could find a way of, by looking at the principles of involvement, find the language in there and marry it to the language of how you think Reiki contributes to life. Put the two together and then say that as a free person, and you will have been an artist. You will have made a work of art in this, within this construct, because you're contributing to humankind, and everyone is a work of art. So that becomes, you are a work of art, and you never have to say, I'm not this or I'm not that again. Okay?
Right, I understand that. Yeah.
There you go. That was for your heart and for everyone
And
listening.
also, it's not only for people, you know, who are having problems. There are people that are very healthy and want to remain that way. Reiki is balance. It's balancing the mind and the body.
Okay. And in some cases, what she's doing right now is personal, more so than it is practical and explanatory about a practice that's been on the planet for a long time, that human beings have done to heal themselves and each other. So that's one of the reasons that when it comes time to the free speech aspect, the live stream stops, because it's really for the people who've agreed to do that. And this way, your contribution, which might not be, when I was a child, I was abused, which can happen, or something happened to me when I was young, or my mother was this, or my father was that, or this happened to me one day. There are personal things, and then people find a way of contributing how they survived and healed that. That can happen. In the meantime, in the mix will be things like what you say, but because it's sometimes can be personal, you'll see how this goes and grows. But thank you again. And so is there anyone else who wants to go next? And maybe I can grab a poem too. So let Derek go. I'm going to take a moment and go grab a poem, because since there's so few of us, I usually don't want to contribute, but something tells me I should throw a poem in there.
I'm going to use this opportunity to plug a project that I've been working tirelessly on. So I like to think of myself not as a musician, because I don't really make money off or seek to make a career out of songwriting or anything like that. But I do seek to make a living off teaching, because there's a lot of good knowledge, musical knowledge, and I think it's wrong that people have to spend money to go to a university to learn something that they should have been taught at an early age. I don't think music should be esoteric. When I do teach, I do ask for enough money to cover the calories burned. So I have been putting out videos directed towards people who have no musical experience, all the way up to people who have been musicians for years. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit of my website. Not website, but pages. And I'll keep it under 5 minutes, but I just want to show you guys the kind of stuff that I'm talking about here. So I'm going to share my screen and share with you my my Instagram page. So here's my Instagram page, and it's completely kid-friendly. I don't post any content that is, and nothing worse than what a kid would see anyway. There's nothing, but as you go towards the newer stuff, you can see it's all tutorial videos. And I'll play a little bit of the last one that I made. Did I share sound? So I'm going to share sound. But this one is directed to people who have no musical experience. So this is kind of the vibe that we're looking at. If it doesn't load, no big deal. But
today I'm going to talk about modes.
it's
And I'm not
shared.
going to get into the music theory, technical terms, or mechanics of modes. You can find that information anywhere. What I want to do is provide some insight in how to make music with modes. This is a great way for beginners to make music. So I'm going to show you the workflow you can follow to start creating your own sounds. I'm going to assume that most of my viewers know the note names on the piano, but if you don't, you'll get by just fine. It isn't necessary to know note names or any theory at all. All you have to do is be able to count from 1 to 5, and I'll show you how. So the first thing you want to do to capture a mode is to pick a note, any white key. In this case, I'm going to pick F. And then you want to find your range, and that's going to be pretty much any other F on the keyboard. Let's call this our 1. So the next thing we want to do is find our 5th. This is going to be the most consonant note to the 1. So we don't even need to know note names. We could just count up a 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This 5 is going to be our kind of secondary note. So we have our prime note and our second note, and we can just kind of rock back and forth between these two like clockwork. 1, 5, and this makes a good baseline for us to go through some ideas in our right hand. So starting on our F,
so there's that. That's just a little sample of what the kind of content that I'm putting out. There's going to be a lot more to come. I'm doing a YouTube page, and I am looking to try to kind of get some money to feed myself. So this is what I've been doing. My friend, I showed my friend, he's a 3rd grade music teacher. He said that he was going to show his class some of my videos just because they're so accessible and like kid friendly, not like there's no cursing or anything like that in the videos, and it's very digestible. So I'll post a link to my YouTube and my Instagram, and my Instagram has the Venmo info and stuff like that. If you think that anyone would benefit from lessons, music lessons from me, my videos or anything, please share. I'm going to put the link in here. Like private Zoom lessons, anything. This is me asking for help, trying to help me make a living, because the clock is running out for me. And yeah, so that's it. I used that time kind of selfishly, but it's about time. So thanks for hearing my spiel. And Cece is going to read a poem now.
Yay.
All right. I love Lydian too.
Okay. Thank you, Derek. Without Derek, Brian Dozer was the primary tech person for the very first one, and he will be back on May 9th. And we're going to be adding more multi-streams hopefully by then. So it might go to Facebook and YouTube, but it might also go to Twitter and LinkedIn. So we're going to establish a Human Room Open Voice presence on other platforms so that the people that do not do the principles of involvement will be able to see that on a perimeter outside of those who agreed to contribute on this level. So my last year, I started 3 new manuscripts. and they were about short poems. And this is the very first one in one of the manuscript projects that's new to my piles of manuscript projects. And the project is called Happy Birthday, Love. Happy Birthday, Love. I don't know if that's backwards. And it's just a title. It doesn't necessarily apply to the, don't judge the book by its cover, basically. So this is the first one. Actually, they're all 4 lines, so I'm just going to read just a few of them. Mirrors watering my mind, wash me through the end of time. Be the air my mind rests in, bring me to where peace begins. Rain on flames that burn my trees, my branching thoughts, my dreamings breeze, my waves of natural calm ideas that bloom and die through all lies real. Fear comes pushing love away, wanting hatreds reach for prey. Soul revenge turns pain to need. There's no resolve in the predator's feed. Kingdoms, castles, dungeons, graves. Survival only wins its ruins. Pleasure cannot capture home, nor hold love as possessions owned. And those are 4 little ones from that. And the other one that I'm working on is actually something I heard. Is that backwards? No. Okay, so this is called Done Is Now. And I was listening to some podcast, and it's actually a line in the Bible, done is now. But it just, 3 words that do so much work. So this is the title poem, which is this is the title poem to it. This is in the first one. Imagine now is here as if the coming is gone. The deed not yet already happened. The thought soon to be just transpired. The prayer answered before the praying asked outward. The birth to be was done and died happy. Undisturbed was God. Done is now. So thank you. Has everyone that's wants to go once gone? And let's take a moment and bring Steve back, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the Human Room Open Voice at Gmail, if you have a question, if you want a guided tour through the principles of involvement. And I'm asking you, at least have me send you the email that went out to the members to be invited to this. And it has something in there that asks you, when I say, can you think of a nonprofit or a community organization that is contributing to humankind, and you can't think of one, I want you to think about that. Why can't you suggest that there's someone doing something for everyone and the earth that aligns with the principles of involvement? And it should be some sort of wake-up call to where you are in relationship to thinking you're free. If you can't think of sharing someone who's contributing to all of what free is and who we are and who we think we are. And that is something that I'm hoping that you'll see and hear inside yourself. And that is what I want you to say, go to this thing and contribute. Because you're not selling the human room open voice. You're saying there's a place to go. And I don't know of any other place where you can go and do and be this, where the platform of equality is established at day one in order to just participate. So that form is there, and there are more forms to come, and just please get on the mailing list and send me a question. And share this with your friends. So if the 9 of you told everyone, a few days from now, there's going to be 50 or 60 members. It's that simple. If not, then we're going to be where we are. And if it takes time, it takes time. Women said, hey, we should vote too. That took a few days. The people of color on the planet said, wait a minute, we want to be free. There shouldn't be slavery. That's still going on 400 years later, still saying, well, hello. So humanity needs some help. And I'm hoping you could share this so that now there's a space for that help to live and breathe and grow, because being human is a work of art. And this is literally a living work of art. I've said it, and it's not just a tagline. I'm not trying to sell this. I'm saying that I am not making this. This is not me. This is everyone here doing this under these set of principles. And we have created a living, breathing space. So thank you again, Steve Azzaro.
Thank you, CC. And I would like you folks to know I've written a couple of dozen songs, but never have really thought about writing something which might be considered poetry. I mean, I don't think it's so good, but I've written, this is the second one that I've written. The first one I did for the first meeting of this group. So CC and his poetry, and Mary and Matt and people that I've heard in the past have sort of inspired me to give it a shot. So this is the second poem that I've written, and it's called, I sort of have a fascination with shadows and whispers. Take note of shadows that seem little. Shadows shift depending on whether it's day or whether it's night. Take note of whispers, those slippery shadows of sound. Deep within whispers, an infinity of meaning might be found. Shadows. Shadows emerge as intimate partners, way ahead of the light. Ephemeral darkness, mere illusions, vanishing at night. Shadows highlight and define images that electrify one's mind. If you take notice, you'll be surprised with what you might find. Exactly what is it that I think I see in that noggin of mine? Reflections of memory thoughts with no real light that shines. And I scarcely notice absent light or the highs and the lows. In my synapse firing noggin, imaginary world of no shadows. Well, I think chameleons and shadows might share some traits, carefully adjusting themselves to light's current state. Lizards emoting or hiding show infinite shades of intensity. Shadows shape and shade shift, allowing perspective and clarity. Whispers. Isn't a whisper quite a silly approximation of sound? Faint, airy hissing with little variations to be found. This low emanation of air makes unique gallery waves, and amazingly heard opposite in walkways above the nave. One can't whisper a song, you know that just won't do. But you can softly whisper a sigh from deep within you. You could whisper a poem, but I'm not sure I know if you could make sense of it without the highs and the lows. Don't you think a quiet, shadowy whisper is a little creepy? Although it might be appropriate at night when you're sleepy. Whispers are far away from booming voices in the day or the night. Silent, sibilant meanings are perplexingly difficult to get right. Afterward, Take note of shadows, those shimmering whispers of light. Shadows shadow shift, depending upon whether it's day or night. Take note of the whispers, those slippery shadows of sound. Within whispers wit, an infinity of meaning can be found. Oh, I'm glad we have shadows and whispers, and there is surely much more we could know. Whispers do have meaning and special advice, and shadows do make everything look so nice. Shadows and whispers.
It's amazing, Steve. All the years I've known you, or year I've known you, or however long it's been, that all this time, this
You
hidden
have to make a
poet has
song
been
out of
in
that.
there.
That's almost like you singing
uh,
the zombie song. You got to make a song about that.
You think we could do
you're-
it with Marion? Maybe with Marion's help, I could try it. No, thank you, Cece. It's just an honor to hear that from you, and you give me all the courage to, as the rest of you do, to try again and do it again. So I really thank you, Eileen, too. It's much appreciated.
it's amazing how much energy we put into knocking ourselves and not believing in ourselves.
True. You're very right,
It's
Cece.
phenomenal. And I'm a veteran. I went from low self-esteem to no self-esteem, and then had to figure out why I was still digging deeper. So, but I got to give one thing up for poetry, is that it's not comedy. So if you could write a poem that's funny, whoa. George Carlin, yeah, Stephen Wright. So let's see. I don't know if I lost. I think Mary.
Sure. Okay. All right. I'm going to read a few cinquains. They're called cinquains of reprieve.
Mary, why don't you take just a little moment and tell people what a sequain is?
Okay. It's okay. A cinquain is a 5-line poem from which cinquain comes. From which cinquain comes from. It's sort of structured like a haiku, but it's 5 lines, and it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 2. There are other syllabic forms too, but I go with the 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 2 form. So.
Thank you for that.
Okay, and these are all called cinquains of reprieve. Reprieve, reset button, to turn back time, restart, the calling blindly missed before, renew. Reprieve, your past mistakes rectified, know the path once took, steer clear definitely, resolve. Reprieve, beyond relief. Contingency includes thoughtful practice of living right, well off. Reprieve, the game of life, hide and seek objective. It's out there somewhere, let's find it, tag it. And I'll do just one more. Reprieve, more fuel left for the journeys and thought originally, ways to go, truck on. Thank you.
Wow, Mary, that was neat. How do you spell what you call those things, Mary?
Cinquain, Cinquain.
Thank you. Really neat.
You're welcome.
Yeah, meter rhyme is a very interesting aspect. I tend to fall into the camp of free verse, and every now and then, if I'm reading like some poet who writes in meter and rhyme or any of the poetic forms, I could end up writing a poem that's in meter and rhyme, but it's an accident. So I'm an abstract guy who keeps falling backwards and eventually might fall into form or structure, but it's there. I think the poem, as long as the poem is painting on your mind, then words are just an awkward way to get my mind to your mind, and poetry is one of the prettier ways to do that. Besides playwriting and lyrics and all the other art forms that play around with words. And let's see, Rochelle, were your screen went the thing to make me focus. That are you next in line here? I forgot the order.
Yes.
Okay, and thank you for being here. And I just want to say thank you to one of the contributors here that is definitely a work of art, Naomi. You're acknowledged as a work of art with your presence. I just want to say that. Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Robin, or R. Chanel.
Thank you. The poem I will be reading is also from my Secret Garden mixtape. It's called Death of a Dream. Lord knows, dreams are so hard to follow. I'm sorry, can somebody mute their mic?
I'm sorry.
It's okay, thank you. Lord knows, dreams are so hard to follow. So many people, after they fulfill their dream, they forget the struggle and turmoil. They ignore the hope that once grew inside, the passion that leads the journey to strive, the hunger for greatness that once consumed their very being. As I mourn the passing of Michael Jackson and grieve the absence of my brother Sydney, these past few days I've sought my creator for an answer or some peace, but felt my failures have been tattooed on my skin with metal, and I am going through a CAT scan. Each piece of metal is being pulled by the giant magnet that encircles me, entrapping me with nowhere to run, reaching out to emptiness. The whiteness of my teeth hides the shadows that lurk in my eyes. Finally alone, the hollow echoes through the house, finally matching the lonely cries. The raw shea butter hides the tear streaks, mourning the loss of a dream. June 25th, 2009 joined November 9th, 2007 as one of the saddest days, a miserable day. A day I will try so hard to forget but is engraved in my heart forever. Alternatively, something could scare me enough to wake me and it would be all over. Have you ever felt or thought it was just a bad dream and that if somebody could pinch you hard enough? God forbid that by revealing who you are, the joy, the fears, and weaknesses, creating a fantasy land. But what about reality? Reality. Award shows are for the chosen, for the elite, a reminder that not all are welcome, invitation only. Bridging a bond of memories with love, but here lie the remains in memory of, in the death of a dream. Shattered and buried in pieces that seem to resurrect themselves, I lay in bed every night, praying that God releases this thorn that takes over my mind. I remember staring into a light, hoping that it swallows the living that is dying in me. I wish it were that easy that I can be Windows XP with my handy recycle bin and just press delete, and all will be gone from my registry. However, I am not a robot, and it's not what it seems. I am not an operating system, but a human, a woman. The healthy part is in bereavement, even after all these years, still grieving the death of a dream. Rest in peace. Thank you.
Nice, thank you.
Very powerful,
Very powerful. Thank you.
Chanel.
So I
Thank
also
you.
want to thank another work of art amongst us, Beverly, for being here. Your presence is acknowledged as a work of art. And I'm not saying that because it's part of what I'm trying to acknowledge, but I really mean that. Anyone who shows up for the Human Room Open Voice and has gone through the principles of involvement or is basically, I really want to acknowledge the presence of those that come to hear and listen. And again, as this grows, and expands, you're going to see how much the people that are listening are as important as the person giving their art up to be heard. If you got, if the tree falls in the forest, it's like, okay, we're the forest. It's like the poet's just the tree that fell. But what if there was no forest? It's like, okay, I wrote a poem about the last tree falling in the forest. There was only one tree left and it fell. So
did it make a sound?
JD, are you ready to go? Did it make a sound? I don't know. You'll have to ask the lifeless planet it fell on. Maybe if it had a heartbeat left or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think so because I believe energy, in essence, that all that we are cannot be created or destroyed. We're all constructs within this thing that cannot be created or destroyed. Some people call that God. Some people call it energy. Other people call it next up JDY. How's that for a segue?
Yeah. Okay.
Segue. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, I got to do that.
Okay. This song here is my Buttonwood song. Steve sang his. This one's called "The Floor Is Yours." Sing a song, share a poem, tell a joke, anything goes. The world's a stage and everybody stood in line. I turn to you without further ado. The floor is yours and the pleasure's mine. Tell a tale, shoot the breeze, feel free to do whatever you please. It's a short 15 minutes, then they point you to the exit sign. But I swear that will not happen under my watch. The floor is yours and the pleasure's mine. If you got something to share, why don't you spread it everywhere? We're all ears and we're all eyes. Let us in on the big surprise. Is it a magic trick or interpretive dance? Will you blow our minds? Will we lose our plans? It's a friendly gesture, but we'll give it to you every time. I said it twice 'cause it felt so nice. The floor is yours and the pleasure's mine. The floor is yours and the pleasure's mine.
Hey, nice, JD.
Thank you.
That's a brilliant one. We got to get that one on WESU.
Someday.
That's great.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Well done. He really brought together a lot of that's like almost a documentary.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see if I got this right. Matt, are you ready to go again? Oh, okay. Let's see. Derek, do you want to read a poem? No, Derek's good. Eileen, do you want to read something again? And let me just take a moment before you go, Eileen, and just remind people listening on Facebook and on YouTube that on my Facebook page, I'm sure that it's at the Buttonwood Tree website too, but the link that will take you right here without even a password, if you want to jump in to this, unique second event. We don't know what the third event's going to be. I think we do, but 30 days from now, the world will unfold, because I'm living on a planet and I'm not the planet. So if the planet moves a little bit and people fall off, I don't know what's going to happen on Mother's Day. But I hope Mother's not that mad at us, where it just shakes us off her back. So so there's a link to come into this. We're going to be going for a little while longer. It's probably not going to be the whole 3 hours, but I will take a little time, maybe when Derek gets back. He's taking a break because he's a bottomless pit. He likes to eat, he said. So we're all good. So Eileen, why don't you share something with us again? And again, those who are listening, if you want to take a moment again, back to your Facebook pages and whatever Twitter thing you do, if you want to share the link out and let them know this is happening now and every second Sunday. And again, there's the new form for inviting or being. If you're a nonprofit, you now have a platform. I'll try to take some time this week to isolate the nonprofits that shared in the first event and make little YouTube videos out of them. And when that happens, I'm going to send them to you guys who are on the on the mailing list, saying that here's the links to the new. And when you go there, it's a brand new YouTube channel, so it has next to no subscribers. But go ahead and subscribe, because eventually we could take these little videos and populate them with little highlights that are contributes to humanity. Maybe that song could be one. I think that'll be a nice little contribution. But I'm going to try and bookend them with this is something that you need to step into, because you're a work of art too. And that includes the nonprofits, community organizations, experimental art forms, and free speech individuals who are willing to say something and not say that I don't because I'm not an artist or I'm not a poet or anything like that. So you are a work of art, and that's going to be welcome here. So please step on into this living work of art. The Human Room Open Voice, and the information and the principles of involvement are at the Buttonwood.org, buttonwood.org, www.buttonwood.org is the website, with all the other things they have going on, the open mics, the Reiki. There's another open mic. There's moments of gratitude is something that happens. Maybe we should do that before we go, because Anne Marie's not here to remind us. Maybe she'll bop in. Okay, Eileen, go ahead, share with us. Thank you. Eileen, you're going to have to unmute yourself.
Okay, here I am. I am Eileen, the Reiki practitioner at the Buttonwood. You'll find me there almost monthly. I offer Reiki 1 and Reiki 2. But meanwhile, on open mic, I read poetry and I read stories. This is one of my friends from high school who wrote a book composing all her great aunt's letters to her mother when her mother was in the hospital with polio. So I am going to read another one. This time she writes, "My dear little Bonbon, about 2 minutes after I mailed the postcard to you, your daddy called me up and he told me all about the wonderful birthday celebration you made for him, how he liked your gift, and the children singing, 'Happy birthday to you.' When I go swinging 'neath the big oak tree, the little people come and play with me. There's a tiny elf with a red peaked cap. He's feeling very frisky since his afternoon nap. While here on the swing, right below my very knees, the blue fairy floats just as gay as you please. Over here, over there, in the tall tufts of grass, they dance with darting glass as they try to pass each other on the way. By the end of the day, For when the daytime ends and the Sandman sends me to sleep, in dreamland deep, my little people cry as they bid me goodbye. Then I kiss them goodnight till the next morning light finds me once more as the day before, swinging underneath the big oak tree with my dear little people surrounding me. I am hoping to see you soon, my darling. Love and kisses, Aunt Sadie. That's what Aunt Sadie wrote to her mother, whose name is Rhoda.
Nice, Eileen. Well read.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. What we could do here is we're going to keep going one more. I'll read. Did I already read a poem? Yeah, I think I did. But anyway, Matt, did you want to go, or you already said no? I'm just giving you a second shot there. Okay. So I am going to ask one more time that anybody that's watching this on the live stream or is the human room open voice at Gmail. Just send an email saying, I heard you want, can you send me more information? And I will respond with the link to the first one that went out for you. I'll send you that link, which the second half includes the nonprofit organizations and the community groups, not to take away from everything that happened in the first hour, but to show you that second hour that happened in the very first event on March 14th is unique part of the platform. And I want you to take those and share them with other people. Even before you could just put the timeline on it. You can go to the YouTube video and from the YouTube channel. And when you share a video from YouTube, you could set the beginning point. So you could say, like, I want you to hear about Mains in Motion. It's a horse healing situation. Or you want to hear about the Peace Belt, which is another the World Peace Belt that went around the world. I hope I'm getting that name wrong. I think I'm messing up the name of that organization. Mama Wendy was, if you want to just, so you can queue it up just before that person is about to speak in the YouTube video and go to share and it says start at, there's a little button on YouTube, and then share that video to any nonprofit saying, look at what this nonprofit did here. And then they don't have to watch the whole thing or find it on the timeline. So once again, you can go to a YouTube video, you can queue it up at the very beginning, hit the share button, and then there's a little square saying start at, and you could just put that number in the start time. And then when you send it to a friend, they watch the video from the point where you want them to see that nonprofit sharing and saying, well, if that nonprofit did it, why don't you do this too? So that's another way to share from the YouTube channel. Again, that's the the YouTube. There is a Human Room Open Voice YouTube channel. Okay. Let's see. I want to keep going, and here's something. Poets can always be wrong. Every word is air. Vibrations of thoughts can give birth. The imperfection of God comes here. So I'm not afraid in poetry to refer to all of the great things that we refer to, but not to the point where we're competing love against love. That's hard to see, but we do that. We actually take the things we love, like the Red Sox or the Yankees, and we exist to make sure that the people who love the other love is somebody we hate, and we can't wait to beat them with our love. Oh, how do we do this? How do we do this? The Human Room Open Voice is here for you to at least give that a wake-up call that there's hypocrisy in our concept of freedom. So if you understand what's going on here, I just want to ask, is there anybody else that wants to do anything else one more time? And then before we leave, is there anybody that wants to stop the restream to Facebook and YouTube and say something just to speak freely before we go. We're going to do those two more things, and then we're going to wrap up the event number 2. Anybody that wants to go a second or third time, please raise your hand, speak up, and you're ready to go. Anybody? Oh, we got Steve. Is there anybody else? Eileen's going to go again. Anyone else? JD, you want to go a third time? You're good? Mary? You're good? And I'm good. So we're going to go with Steve, and then we're going to go with Eileen, and then we're going to see if somebody wants to just say, I love. That's my contribution. You can keep it short, in other words. And then we're going to wrap this one up. And thank you, everyone. And if you want that to be private, let me know. We'll stop the restreaming. We won't even include it in that. Otherwise, we'll let it go. And thank you again, Beverly and Naomi, for being our ears here and our eyes and our witnesses. Okay, go ahead. Take it away, Steve Lazaro.
Thank you. Thank you, Cece. A number of years ago, I attended an event with a bunch of people, and it was just a very free-spirited.
Steve, I'm going to ask you to hold on a second. Beverly just
Yes,
voiced up.
I do want to say, Cece had explained this to me a few times, and I just thought I would check in because he's a good friend. I'm not a poet, whatever, but I enjoy listening, and maybe I can get some nonprofits or whatever to communicate with you, and you can screen them or whatever, and so that this will grow, because I do believe in it. All right.
Nice.
All right.
Yes.
Well done, Beverly.
Thank you. And
there you go.
Therein lies the love. That's all. It's not about me, and it's not about Beverly, and it's not even about the nonprofit. It's about we could do this. We're better than the inhumanity that rules over our protected love. I forget. Matt said something earlier. I wrote it down. I'll come up with it after Steve's song. Okay. Sorry for the interruption. Go ahead. Take 2.
That's okay. That's okay. And thank you, Beverly. It's so pleasing to see that beautiful face of Beverly and that lovely smile. Okay, so I wrote this song a couple years ago. I attended free thinkers, sort of like this group, and the lady that was there, she was expecting her first baby, and her name was Sarah. And she was the co-host. Her and her husband did this gathering. And I was just very impressed with her and all the others. So this song I wrote for Sarah Blue. So even though it's written to a woman, it really is written to all of us, not just to a woman. So I called the song Sarah Blue. Seek your special gift, take the shadows off your face, shake your heart awake, your very future is at stake. Look up to the blue sky, try to reach the stars, embraced by the earth, just let go. You could go far. Sarah Blue, a song for you. Sarah Blue, peace and harmony, to yourself be true. Hear the gentle wind sigh, your destiny to keep. Wake up, wake up, don't you slumber or sleep. You're lucky to have a life, to find your special dance. Be strong, be brave. You only have one chance. Sarah Blue, a song for you. Sarah Blue, peace and harmony to yourself, be true. One life to live, one life to give. It's a one-way journey, love and forgive. 80, with luck to the end. Celebrate your moments and cherish your friend. Sarah Blue, a song for you. Sarah Blue, peace and harmony to yourself, be true. Slow down, have faith in your spirit and your might. Move towards your fate through the day and the night. Love your harmony, sing the song of your fate. Love the music of you. Have courage, don't hesitate. Sarah Blue, a song for you. Sarah Blue, peace and harmony to yourself, be true. With peace and harmony to yourself, be true. In slumber or sleep, peaceful dream for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For Sarah
Thank you.
Blue.
I love that song. That's very nice.
Thank you. Thank you, Eileen.
Okay, Eileen, why don't you bring us home, and then we'll wait for see if anybody has a closing word or two.
Okay, I am going to read another story or another poem from this book about what Aunt Sadie wrote to Rhoda. And she writes this time, "My dear little jonquil, how are you feeling today?" You know, Rhoda was in bed with polio. And you know Easter is but a few days away, and anything at all is liable to have happen on Easter. Bunnies come with the most precious gifts and leave them here and there in a most mysterious way. But if the funny bunny comes to leave something with you, don't be too much surprised. Tulips are growing in my garden, in purple and yellow, pink, red, and white. Exquisite they are in beauty, tremendous some are in height. We too grow in the garden of God. Beautiful souls have we all, and each is tremendous in something, be young or old, big or small. In what would you be tremendous? In size or in mind or in grace? If 'tis character strength, you would grow into there matters not station or place. Tomorrow is April Fool's Day, so have a good time and don't let too many people fool you. Think up a good one for your mother, but don't scare her. I'm writing this letter the very first thing Tuesday morning, and I'm hoping to write you another tonight, if all is well. Love, hugs, and kisses, Aunt Sadie.
Thank you very much. And that's Benji coming in and out of the picture there, our human room open voice dog.
Oh, I
Very
see.
first. one more time, does JD, that's a clear pass, you're good?
Well, I just got a closing word.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead.
Kindness.
Kindness. Does
Okay,
anybody else have a
good.
closing word? Or how about moments of gratitude? We got to keep Anne Marie happy here. Wait a minute. We're live streaming on and our host venue is the Buttonwood Tree Performing Arts Center in Middletown, Connecticut, and worldwide on the web, of course. So, does anybody want to take a moment here? It's something that they do as a venue. Anybody who does a show there, and even at their board meetings now, they take a time out to do to do this thing called moments of gratitude. So if anybody wants to say what they're grateful for, and I'll go first. This is the system that they have. My name is CC Arshagra, and I am really grateful that you are giving this person the opportunity to give all people in life a gift. And even though that seems like an uphill battle, and that it seems like it's impossible because there's no way anybody would do something if it's not about them. And but you're allowing me to break through that, and for that I am deeply eternally grateful for that. So thank you for that. And anybody else want to do a moment of gratitude?
I'll do one. I got one. I'm grateful for Matt and Cece. And that's it. That's all I want to say.
And I'm grateful for resilience and creating resilience and creating health and
Grateful
happiness.
for all your messages. Oh, I'm sorry, Eileen, but grateful for all your messages and all your sharing and your courage. And thanks, Cece, for your courage. Will, to the best of my ability, I will try to help and create this, help you create this thing. And I appreciate what you're doing very much.
Okay, you got to unmute. You got to unmute.
Cece, you're
Thank
muted.
you. Thank you again for everyone that's here. And thank you, Benji and Matt and Derek and Brian Dozer, who did help set us up and get the whole thing going into a couple of the plugs, and he'll be back. So the next one is going to be May 9th, which is Mother's Day, and it's going to go on Mother's Day. And so especially if you know a nonprofit that is doing the work for mothers on the planet, and there's all kinds of situations that womankind has been dealing with over the years, and there are people doing work just to have women be women in a world that is got so much patriarchal stuff going on between sex trafficking and rape and kingdoms and high. So there's got to be a lot of nonprofits, and I would love for that to be part of May 9th, where it's not like, oh, we're going to interrupt Mother's Day. It's like, why were you doing it? Well, because mothers need a voice too. And,
Right.
and if that's not a contribution to humankind, then you have to open up the dictionary, and under the word push, it says mother. You're lucky you're here. So, all right. Love you all. Thank you very much. Don't forget to share. And once this comes out, and don't forget the YouTube channel has a version of this, and you could set the timing of it and put even just your contribution on it, whatever, it'll go past that. But if you say, hey, I was on this thing, here's me reading a poem, or here's me doing a song, you could do it that way too, so that people won't have to watch, the however long this was. And then let me know what else you could do to help. And don't forget the Buttonwood.org has about 7 or 8 things going on. They just finished up a photo contest, and whatever else is going to be going on. They're like any other art venue. They're going to be trying to incorporate the lifting of the pandemic. And there's no side of humans being frightened of humans.
Right.
Try to remember that. There's the story of the Nazi youth and how that came to be, because I still think that we are here as a species, and to understand how we got here as a life form on a planet, you really need to understand the Nuremberg Trials, because it's the only time human beings ever got put on trial, not for the war, not for just the war crimes, but for a crime against all humans.
Humans.
And there is a bottleneck of who we are and how we got here by understanding what the Nuremberg trial was. And it's not just about Germans and Jews and gypsies and homosexuals and persecution and conquering of the world and domination. No, it's about a crime against life, that because we're talking to civilization. There's a YouTube video I watched recently called How Ordinary People Became Killers. And there's something about using love to promote fear, to divide humans. That's the no matter what or where you are in relationship to blue, red, left, right, conservative, liberal, right, wrong, this religion or that religion, or this faith or that faith, or this version of spirituality. We are human beings on a planet. We are living and breathing the same air.
Right.
There's no boundaries of air. The human animal lives for boundaries because it's a survival species. But we as human beings have come to a place where we are capable of not just surviving, which is important, to taking care of your mother, your father, your children, and the ones you love, to survive that. We do understand boundaries do exist, but at the same time, the human being is a boundless entity. We are boundless as a life form within life itself. And this work of art is to promote that. So thank you, everyone. And see you next month or sooner. Don't forget, everyone tells someone. And although that may sound like sales, I hope you understand that this is not. This truly is a living work of art. And thank each and every one of you for being the work of art you are. And you really are. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Cece.
Thank you.
Stay safe, everybody.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night,
Night now.
Okay. Are we coming off? Or are we going to just end the live? Or are we going to go off?
We're all done.
We're done. All right. Good night, everyone.
Everyone go. Yeah. So everyone just do your little bye-bye thing, and then me and Derek and Matt will say.
I'm out.
Oh, this is our crew. Thank you. By the way, this is our crew right here, including Steve. Thank you.
Okay, good night, Facebook.